but there's a significant mark coming out here on the left side of your neck. Yeah, really quick. I mean, a lot came out right here. So you were adjusted, how long ago was this?
This has probably been about 6 years ago.
So 6 years ago, did you have headaches? What were your symptoms when you went and saw him?
Well, this obvious knot in my neck, and then, pain down here, and I
couldn't turn left.
No.
So
and even that way is restricted.
So you went and saw a chiropractor, and he tried to adjust that left side of your neck, and then you're saying what happened?
He never could get it.
No
one's ever been able to get it.
Okay.
Part of the other complication with me is that I can be a little bit tricky to adjust because I'm hyper flexible in a lot of my joints. So I'm not the easiest. So I've tried, I can't even count how many chiropractors I've been to, and no one's been able to help me.
Okay, so you feel like that knot still exists on that left side of your neck?
You'll feel it.
Is it giving you headaches, or is it just giving you pain?
Surprisingly, not headaches. It's restrictive, and it's isolated, like it's all here. It's all upper, like right here.
When do you remember first noticing that? How long ago did you first notice that knot on the left side of your neck? Do you think it was from
it was about 6 years ago.
That's when you
because
first noticed
after he adjusted me for probably, I would say, 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
I noticed there was a knot there, and when I approached him about it, he seemed very upset, and like this. And there's this.
He did a knee chair adjustment.
Knee chair. And you lay to the side and then on your neck like that. Then the other chiropractor I saw, when he was trying to adjust this part of my back, he herniated one of my discs.
Yeah.
So I've been real hesitant about getting chiropractic care again.
Come on over here, yeah.
Okay.
Have you sit right here. Discs take about 10 to 15 years to injure. So if you take even if a bad chiropractor adjusted a disc that was healthy, it wouldn't be able to herniate even if you wanted to. There has to be an injury in the disc for some sort of force to injure it. Now, it is so I would argue that it is never a good idea to ever adjust these last two in the lower back or the lower neck, because all surgery, all disc injury happens in 5 vertebrae. Does that make sense? So it's never a good idea to go in there and manipulate. Now what happens is the vertebrae are in the wrong alignment, they're subluxated because they're injured, and then that makes some chiropractors feel the need to go in there and adjust them, which ends up hurting them, and that's kind of what you went through. You had an injury in your lower back, the guy went in there and stuck his finger in the wound, and now it's really injured. So we want to be careful to leave those areas alone, and that's actually the story of my father going to some chiropractors that worked around him where he was injured, same injury, same thing, lower back. My dad was injured by chiropractors that kept adjusting my father, who's a chiropractor, in the lower back. So personal. Yes, you want to leave that alone. I know you'd been going through some issues with the ear and sinuses. So the ear and all of this drains down the neck. So you described, that knot on your upper neck. That was many years ago, and then the last couple of years you've been dealing with some issues with drainage. I don't find those to be separate. The tightness in your neck, a knot in your neck will affect the drain line. So even though if you're being exposed to something and that's causing inflammation to build up, all that's supposed to drain down your neck. So having tightness in your neck is going to then make it back up into your sinuses, your middle ear, and it's important and vital that your neck is healthy for your health of your middle ear and the health of your sinuses. And that's where I think I can help you today, and at least helping get the most common bottleneck, which is the neck. Exactly what you're describing. Do you feel right now when you're turning your neck you have any restrictions turning left and right? Can you show me? Just so
that's it.
That's your. So we're at about maybe 45 degrees. You're supposed to have about 80 degrees. I would say about 45 there. Go ahead and turn right for me. And about maybe 70, 80. So close to where she should be on the right, and then limited on the left rotation. And you've noticed that for 6-7 years.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Take a deep breath in. I'm gonna go pretty gentle here. Deep breath in. Let all the air out. Deep breath in for me. Here we go. Exhale. Let it all go. Deep breath in. I got you. One more. Let it all go. All right. Good. See it now. I got you. I know. Sternum got there a little bit too. I just tried to adjust about 12 vertebrae in your back. I got maybe 3 or 4 to move. When other chiropractors have tried to adjust you, do you feel maybe it moved better with them, or it moved similar to that? How do you feel? Or did they not even try to do that?
Typically, I don't move.
It's always tight.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, so the reaction to that is we need to improve that. That can't be something that we're okay with. That has to be improved upon. You're way too young to have that much tightness in your middle back. It's a game of how many members of your team are working, and if you only have your skeleton crew, 20% of your spine doing all the work, then that 20% is eventually going to get exhausted and going to say, I've had enough. I would argue that, I understand maybe just stepping weirdly on a curb, that's what made your leg buckle, but even your body's ability, we call it sensory neurointegration, so your body's ability to adapt to things coming at us is affected by the health of our spinal column, right? So you might have been in a position spinally where the ability to buckle is higher, right? Because there's already some inflammation in your spine that should be cleared. But let's say that it wasn't that, and let's say you just buckled your leg and then you tore your knee and you tore your lower back. At the same time that happens, stress went into your lower back along with your knee and your hip. What I am feeling is a right, it's very interesting how you have trouble turning left.
Do you feel that?
I feel, yes, this bump here, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a little bit lower, it's about C3 or C4, you have a C, this bone's over, but the upper neck is actually sticking out to the right. The upper neck is right, and then it goes left, a little bit lower. I'm just going to massage for a second here. Feel this, like I said, this is the bigger knot, and it's higher on the right, and then it kind of goes catty-corner to the left. This is why you still have some restriction in your ability to turn your head right, even though it is worse to your left, but I don't like that primarily also.
I've had a whole lot of massage. I've had acupuncture. I have done every sort of modality you can imagine.
It's time for the Ed touch. Here we go. We'll get it cleared. They're just joints. These joints will build up plaque, crystals, adhesions grow on the joints. Think like sandpaper. And if you have 2 pieces that have sandpaper on them, they get stuck on each other. And so your range of motion is dependent on all of these joints working as a team. The adjustment has the power to quickly loosen a joint. Now, with that, we want to make sure we're not loosening the ones that are injured. We want to loosen the ones that are stiff. So no chiropractor has given you any home exercises, any home stretching in terms of like trying to get that curve back in your neck?
No, sir.
No? Okay. All right. That's really what...
But I will tell you this. I got a new pillow.
Okay.
And that has helped tremendously.
What's the name of the pillow?
I wish I could remember.
Okay, it's okay. Well, I'm going to show you some stuff that I have here, and we'll go through that. The cervical lordosis, the arch in your neck, is paramount for not only helping the drainage, but also helping for neck pain and also the discs, joint health, and ensuring that your whole spine ages and wears evenly. I want to go real gentle here. Real gentle. Here we go. Nothing might not move. Really easy. I got you. There we go. Okay. Real easy. So it's like for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So the first vertebrae is going over to the right. She has a knot on the right upper, and then a little bit lower, she's got a big knot on the left, kind of lower neck. It's kind of like Jenga. One piece went to the right, and the other piece had to go left so that the tower wouldn't fall over. Right? So the bones had to shift and move around. I would argue that most of this happens because of the loss of curve in the neck. So when you lose the arch, the lordosis in the neck, the vertebrae start to try to shift and move all around. Injured joints then get, say your body starts to tilt away from injured joints, and that creates and feeds the problem. So we want to get any inflammation out of the joints and then aim the spine back to the arch position, and any of those bumps will start to go away. But they only can go away through not needing to avoid them and by the restoration of the curve that your neck is supposed to have. Very, very gentle. It's okay. Really easy. It's okay. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I feel it. Yep, I feel it. Okay. Yeah, it's stuck right there. This joint's been frozen because of that injury, or I don't know. Either the chiropractor went in here and then your body wanted to avoid this area, got injured. I don't know, but there's definitely a frozen vertebrae over here maybe the chiropractor was pounding on it and then you started feeling it. Maybe he was detecting it was frozen. I don't know. I wasn't there. But there is a restriction on the left side of your neck here. There we go.
How does it feel just to get it like pushed in?
Well, that's the funny part, because
Yeah.
it's pretty numb.
No.
Like, I can feel that he's putting pressure on it, but I don't really feel anything.
Uh-huh.
And I haven't for many years.
Uh-huh.
I don't have much feeling.
On the neck.
No.
Okay. There's a little mark coming out, so the area that has that knot on it right there, there's a little bit of we call a gua sha mark. The gua sha mark represents the inflammation, the fluid, your body kind of like puts a bunch of water balloons around something that gets injured, tries to cushion it. And that, when I adjusted you earlier, it felt like I was jumping on a trampoline. I kind of bounced off of it. It's filled with fluid, and you kind of have to compress that fluid out of there, and sometimes it takes a few adjustments to get the vertebrae moving after you've gua sha'd it, then you compress it, and sometimes it takes me a few visits to get this moving. I'll try my best today, but there's definitely a lot of fluid on the left side of your neck. Epsom salt can help pull this fluid out faster, but usually you have to go home, do Epsom salt, and then like in a couple days I can get this to move, but it's
So just like a Epsom salt bath.
yeah, or even a compress. You can take some salt in a cup, let the salt dissolve, rub the salt in your neck, take a paper towel, hand towel, dip it in the salt water, and then compress.
Oh.
Hold that over the neck.
Okay.
So you're making like a Epsom salt compress. But there's a significant mark coming out here on the left side of your neck, right where you're. So what I'm trying to say, it's not all in your head. There actually is a giant knot here that's going to affect your sensation. The nerve signals are not going to transmit properly.
Well, I've always thought that this was affecting my eustachian tube.
100%.
Like, quite
100%.
possibly,
Yes, ma'am.
which has caused it to back up.
This is the curve your neck is supposed to have, and we have to aim your spine and hold you back. It's really easy. Just go a little deeper. It's okay. There you go, a little deeper. It's okay.
Has that side of your neck moved before with people?
No.
Okay, so.
I've had no movement, and
Oh.
that's in
Either side.
Well, in my neck, period,
Okay.
in about
Well, Holly,
at least 5 or 6 years.
we got a couple to move.
What? So what?
We got a couple to move. I want to see how you just feel when I just twist you a little bit. Is there pain when you twist like this?
Well, it's always in pain.
But does it get worse when you twist?
If you push on it, it's going to.
Just twisting, does that hurt?
Well, I mean, I feel it there. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Does it get worse? I understand if you already feel it, but if it starts getting worse when I twist.
Do it again.
I'm just going to just go real gentle. Does it get worse when I push?
Yes.
It does, okay.
Yes.
All right, we're going to go face down for me.
That's why I came to you, because I saw
Yeah,
you
we
do
got
a
one.
video of somebody else, and you said if I keep pushing this, I'm gonna.
You're going to hurt it. You're going to hurt it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want
So
to,
that's-
but there is benefit to loosening this joint, but not at the cost of upsetting this.
And that's
So-
why I came to you, and I heard you say that to somebody else.
So we're just rotating. I wanted to see, just rotation should, but if it starts hurting down there, you got to leave it alone. We got to loosen up the areas around, and then maybe if I visit 5, we could start gently. But you're not ready. Not right here represents that part of your back not only is stiff, but that the alignment is wrong. That the curve, the natural lumbar curve isn't what it should be. It wouldn't, if this bump right here wasn't here, then there'd be more arch in your lower back. This is, I call this like the peak of the slouch, the peak of rounding forward. We want to work this in right here. And then mechanically divert stress off your lower back. All right. Would you say not a lot of people pay attention to this spot right here?
I would say that.
Yeah.
And I would say I know what I'm avoiding it.
Pretty painful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you see my point. Everybody's poking on and working on the parts of your back that are injured, and they're missing the parts that are frozen but not injured right now because they don't work, but they're actually the cause. They're the original injuries, the source of your injury, and what we have now is the compensatory injuries, the lower back, the discs, and then the chiropractors are going there and trying to beat up the lower back, but the lower back isn't doing anything wrong. It's just doing its job and everybody else's job. Okay.
wonder if this would help with digestive issues.
100%. No. The nerves, all the nerves that essentially, shut down your digestion. They call it sympathetic. So your sympathetic system is your fight or flight.
Mm-hmm.
So the nerves that excite your heart, dilate your lungs, but then shut down digestion, all come from your back. It's called the sympathetic system. So the nerves that turn off your stomach come from your back, meaning if these nerves are irritated, that you'll have gastric paresis or you'll have constipation. Having a healthy spine is the foundation for health. Hippocrates said like 2,000 years ago, it is well to look to the spine for the cause of all disease. That your spinal health and your health are directly connected.
So interesting study.
Mm-hmm.
That was done, and I want to say, I don't know if it was about Weston Price. I can't remember who actually did it now,
Mm-hmm.
but he spent years traveling the world and gathering data on indigenous tribes for longevity.
Mm-hmm.
And he found one common thread for those indigenous tribes that lived the longest. It was spinal flexibility and health.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Society, as we become more sedentary,
Yes.
our health is decreasing.
Yes.
Mhm.
Being sedentary is the new smoking.
Mhm, that's right. Think anybody's worked on this area a little bit? This has been worked on? No?
Only a certain
Uh-huh.
massage therapist that I could get to do it.
We'll go in here. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. Yeah, real quick. It's coming out right there. There's the... I would argue this was here when you were a teenager. Something happened.
Well,
The-
I had a bike accident when I was a
Uh-huh.
teenager.
Yeah, the first injuries happened in here.
Yeah,
So the
and I
old...
flipped over the handlebars and landed on my lower back.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the beginning of it, I would imagine.
I got you. Breathe. I know it's tough. I feel it. Yeah. Wow. Feel that little click right there? Right
Mhm.
there? Yeah, that's it. It's a tear in the connective tissue. It's like running a comb down your hair. It shouldn't get snagged on anything.
Mhm.
It should just go through the hair effortlessly. And so
Mhm.
the fibrinogen, the connective tissue, the muscles in here shouldn't have any tangles. Anything that for the tool to get caught on. When internally there's an injury, it heals with like a ball of yarn, all knotted up and tangled. That's what I could feel. It became much bigger on this left side. You really don't like me working over there, I know.
No, I can take it.
Yeah, and there's something inside like that. I can feel it. It's like clicking around. Oh my, all right. The goal is to push you to the edge and then back off. The goal is to find the limit and then hang out around the limit. If you don't push the body, it won't change, and then I'm wasting your time, right?
Yeah.
We need to have a balance like a physical trainer. Doing good. See if we can. There you go. And then every subsequent pass you'll get less and less. The first passes with the carpet cleaner, you get the most
Right.
the most out. And so this is usually the hardest visit, or second visit can be the hardest visit because you have everything you came in with and everything I stirred up, and then over a period of visits it gets better and better as your body goes in here and starts to rinse out what's been trapped. I know, okay, all right. Yeah, let it go, you're fine, you're fine. It's the diaphragm area also, so it's going to make you sometimes get a little tickle in your lungs. That's common. There you go. You're fine, yeah. It's like numb. It's like,
Yes.
you're not even communicating with most of your back, and so as we start adjusting, massaging, gua shaing these areas, you start to realize how much of your back wasn't working. And big mark right there came out. Really quick, I mean a lot came out right here. Real dark mark, so how quickly it comes out and how dark it gets signifies how much is inside.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when it comes out, sometimes it takes a lot longer to make a mark appear, or it comes out light. When it comes out after a few swipes, it means that a lot of Cheerios were in the carpet.
Mm.
A lot of dirt was contained in there, and you gotta get it moving. The mobility of the vertebrae is actually what keeps the tissue clean inside. We call it imbibition. The movement of the tissue washes the tissue. So when there's a restriction, the internal lymphatic and kind of cleaning mechanisms are shut down. When there's no mobility, the sedentarism, the tightness, injury,
Well,
posture.
it makes sense. It's like water that doesn't move if
That's
it's
right.
stagnant.
That's right. You
Yeah.
got it.
What's interesting is that I've always tried to, maintain a healthy diet, exercise, all that kind of stuff. And I know I pushed it for a lot of years, kind of extreme.
Mhm.
And I quit doing all that. Well, I had to quit doing all that. But as far as diet and moderate exercise, just making sure that I moved and doing cleansing, and I've always been big about cleansing. All of that though
Mhm.
could not solve
Yes, ma'am.
what I've dealt with.
You have a mechanical problem.
Yes.
It has to be fixed mechanically.
Yes.
Right. So if we have a nutritional problem, you can address it nutritionally, 100%. And if there's a toxicity problem, you have to deal with toxicity. But this is a mechanical problem. Your vertebrae, the joints in here don't move properly, and they're in the wrong position. And that's going to start getting it causes nerve pressure at the very least, nerve irritation, signals not be received, messages that get sent don't get received, organ dysfunction, asthma, gastric paresis, you name it. Get a little more. I got you. It's okay. There you go, a little bit. One more. Here you go. All right, you're doing good. That's the left side of your neck where you're pointing. That's internally. There's blockages in there.
Wow.
Let me show you your back here a little more. That's your upper part of your back.
Ooh.
This is the congestion I'm talking about, right? The tightness, the stagnation is then creating all those lung issues that you're talking about.
Wow.
We got to get all that. We got to get that moving. Having only 2 or 3 bones moving in there is the cause.
Wow.
This is the
I don't
kind
know
of
that.
middle lower part of your back. That's that left side, that knot I was telling you about on the left side. That's what we want to. We'll show you some stretching in a minute. We want to actually start trying to put some pressure on that. Now we don't have to do it quickly, but I'll give you a little preview today. Okay. What you'll do is you'll take one hand and you place it on your forehead and you just kind of gently press See if you get your head to sink in. Does that make sense? Then you put your hand back down and relax. There you go. We want your head to go over the device, if that makes sense. Kind of middle, upper neck, or as high as you can, but your head's going over the device. I don't want it so high that your chin is down. I want your head going over the device, if that makes sense.
Got it.
And it takes 20 minutes. We want to work our way up to 20 minutes to actually start to mold that arch. Now, I would actually just keep your head straight. I don't want to worry about, sometimes I'll have people turn their head one way or the other with this. Since there's knots on both sides, both of those are going to be addressed by just getting the arch back in your neck. We don't have to worry about turning your head one way or the other. I want your neck just straight on it like it is now. This is something where you just put music on. The ideal time to do it is half hour before you go to bed. Kind of brushing your teeth, evening time, putting your spine back in the right position, and then going to sleep. All of the table work is prep for this. That's what I'm trying to say. The adjustment gua sha is all, and they both work together. The Denerol and the adjustment gua sha both work together to move up this ladder. If you're not worked on, then this isn't very effective because your neck is so stiff. It doesn't bend over it, right? So you have to be worked on to make your neck approachable to
I
this.
have stretched like this on my own from a trainer that I had,
Okay.
but not quite like you're telling me to, but I have done this open
Open
stretch
the front.
on a roller to,
Open the front.
yes.
I don't blame you. It's like a room filled with glass. Who wants to walk around in that room? Ed, there's an injury in there. I'm like, well, somebody's got to go in there and sweep it up, clean it up, and then you'll start to use it, right?
Sounds good. Okay,
All right,
sir.
appreciate it. Thanks for dropping
Thank
by.
you.
All
It's
right,
very
thank you.
nice
Thank you.
meeting you.